Hey kids, you like violence? You want to see me stick 9-inch nails into each one of my eyelids? Anyway, so we are Bruce, Jaden, Limbach, and Braden Wilson. And today we're going to be teaching you nerds about poetic devices and themes in Carol Ann Duffy's epic poems.
Now first, let's have an overview of each of the poems. Miss Midas is about the myth of King Midas through the perspective of his wife. In the poem, Miss Midas narrates the story of her husband's newfound ability to turn everything he touches into gold, which initially fills her with a mix of wonder and dread. As King Midas's powers transform their household objects and even their food into gold, Miss Midas grapples the emotional and psychological toll of his supernatural gift. She reflects on the distance it creates between them and the loss of warmth and intimacy in the relationship. Through Miss Midas's voice, the poem explores themes of power, isolation, and complexities of human desire. A couple main poetic devices we can see in this poem are enjambment, simile, and diction.
Wow. Tiresias by Carol Ann Duffy is a poem that presents the story of Tiresias, a character from Greek mythology, from the perspective of his wife. In the poem, Mrs. Tiresias narrates her experiences and emotions as her husband undergoes a transformation from a man to a woman. She reflects on the identity of Tiresias' transformation, on their marriage, and her own identity. Through Mrs. Tiresias' voice, the poem explores themes of marital resentment. Duffy offers a feminist reinterpretation of the myth, challenging traditional gender roles and assumptions. A few poetic devices Duffy uses in this poem are juxtaposition, imagery, and diction.
I Choose You, is a poem by Carol Ann Duffy featured in her collection The World's Wife. In this poem, Duffy gives voice to Claudia Procula, the wife of Pontius Pilate, who is mentioned briefly in the New Testament. Throughout Claudia's perspective, the poem explores her feelings and thoughts regarding her husband's involvement in the trial and crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Claudia reflects on her dreams and premonitions, warning her about the consequences of her husband's actions, as well as guilt and complexity in the events that unfold. The poem delves into themes of power, morality, and the complexities of human conscience, offering a unique reinterpretation of a biblical narrative from a feminist perspective. It symbolizes how she feels about her husband doing almost nothing to save Jesus' life and feels that he is useless. A few poetic devices Duffy uses in this poem are tone, simile, and
crack
diction.
glass sound effect.
Miss Aesop is a poem by Carol Ann Duffy from her collection The World's Wife. In this poem, Duffy imagines the life of Aesop's wife, offering a feminist perspective on the well-known ancient Greek storyteller.
Gah!
Through Miss Aesop's voice, the poem explores themes of storytelling, wisdom, and the role of women in society. Miss Aesop reflects on her husband's fables as the lessons they impart while contemplating her own contributions and experiences as a woman. The poem offers a humorous and insightful take on the famous fabulist, highlighting the often overlooked perspectives of women throughout history. A few poetic devices Duffy uses in this poem are imagery, euphemism, and diction.
Miss Lazarus is a poem by Carol Ann Duffy. In this poem, Duffy imagines the life of Miss Lazarus, the wife of Lazarus, who was raised from the dead by Jesus according to the New Testament. Miss Lazarus reflects on her experience of witnessing her husband's resurrection and the aftermath of his return to life. She grapples with feelings of loss, betrayal, and resentment as Lazarus is celebrated as a miracle while she is left to sorrow the life they once shared. Through Miss Lazarus's perspective, the poem explores themes of death, resurrection, and the complexities of human relationships. Duffy offers a feminist interpretation of a biblical narrative, giving voice to a woman often overshadowed by her husband's story. A few poetic devices that Duffy uses in the poem are tone, enjambment, and diction.
Each one of these poems has some sort of theme of marital resentment. In the first poem, Midas's wife resents him for his abusive and greedy tendencies. Tiresias, his wife, hates him for his such a dramatic change without her knowledge or her input into it. And she feels like she is being betrayed in that sense. Aesop's wife simply hates him for most of his works that he's done and generally dislikes her husband. Pilate's wife hates him for his simple incompetence and his lack of doing anything to save Jesus. Lazarus' wife hates him for coming back after she had already mourned him and gotten through her process already and was finally moving forward and is now being dragged backward. Thank you.
You're welcome.